Hi everyone.
Hello. We are in our hotel, just relaxing in bed. Not really relaxing in bed. That's actually a lie. We actually just sitting in the bed. We just got back. We're gonna relax here once once. We thought we'd cap it off with a video from just to cap off the night, our second to last night out here. So
So yeah, it's did I say Mish already?
I don't know. Did you?
I can't remember. Mish and Mark.
That's us.
So it's been almost 20 or just about 20 days.
Yeah.
20
Tomorrow will be 21.
or something like that, based on the time frame that we have had in terms of our journey here. And it's been interesting in terms of our journey. What do you say? What do you have to say about
Well,
the
I usually do
journey?
all the talking. You go ahead and just say how you think.
Like I was just thinking about the from start to finish.
I'll just give them highlights of. Obviously, don't go into everything. We'll be here for 45 minutes, but just just give them some highlights of some of your favorite things. Some of the things maybe not so favorable. Whatever, anything you encountered along the way.
So okay, so few things that I've experienced. Well, first one was the packing. This is before we started out. Um, it's a learning curve basically in terms of understanding how to have your essentials on the journey, and also kind of having an idea of what you need when you're traveling, especially on a motorcycle. The one of the challenge was the weather, not knowing what kind of weather we would have encountered, and not having the appropriate gear for different weather. But the good thing is having
Well,
prob-
actually, let me interrupt you. We had the appropriate gear. We just never anticipated to be true as cold in July to be like 8 Celsius in the morning and riding on the bike to be 0. So we got caught with our pants down on that one, but we didn't anticipate that at all. But the reality is, when you're going out to the Atlantic Ocean, you can't expect 30, 35 Celsius. But that's what admittedly, I kind of assumed. Obviously not 35 Celsius, but I thought it was going to be, you know, 20, 22, 23, but it was not. So in light of what Michelle said, just to kind of piggyback on that, all we had to do is go. Michelle bought herself a hoodie. I bought myself a fleece under a hoodie. That's all we needed. No big deal. Carry on.
but also and then we did buy appropriate gear for the rain, but then there were times where we had to use the rain gear to kind of shield ourselves from some of the cold too, because we had to put on extra layers.
Yeah.
So that was another thing I would say I wasn't prepared for, because I didn't know that, based on what Mark said, like in terms of the
Well,
low degrees
yeah,
that
and
we
I
would
and
have
I wasn't
encountered.
either. So I mean, it was both of us were caught off guard. I mean, I've been out there before, and I know what it's like. But like I said, I guess from my last year's or a couple years ago experience, I mean, I went the last 2 weeks of July and the first week of August. Or sorry, I lied. I went the last 2 weeks of August and the first week of September, and it was freezing. It was actually snowing. It was snowing from Gaspé, Quebec, all the way cleared almost to Ottawa. Believe it or not, riding on the bike, it was freezing. But anyhow, I don't want to hijack what Michelle was saying.
So that's kind of one of the things that you learn is what the weather is gonna truly be like, and also being prepared for that. The next thing was having sufficient knowledge about the environment, not the weather, but like we learned that there was no bridge, like a real bridge from which one was it? PEI
Oh yeah, PEI, yeah.
to Nova Scotia.
Back to Nova Scotia, yes.
So the bridge that we came on, the Confederation Bridge, what is that from
No, that's from New Brunswick. That's
to
from New Brunswick
to
to
PEI?
PEI,
And then we thought that there was a bridge from PEI to Nova Scotia.
well, there's not a bridge, but we assumed it was. Well, let me just take the real truth in place. Well, there's a we in it. I was the one doing all the navigating. I assumed that there was a bridge on the far eastern side of. We've already been through this. We already discussed it when we did it. So that was a folly on my part. I didn't. I was making a grand assumption. It's because there's one side has one, the other side should have one. Well, guess what? And we missed a ferry and lost 3 hours because of it. But that was my own. That was my own stupidity. I did a rookie move on that one. I assumed something, so that's okay.
And then another thing we learned on the road is that, well, it was good, opportunity for us to learn that a Harley-Davidson, well, the 2012 Harley-Davidson, once the gas goes low, it goes in reserve. So that's a good learning curve again, knowing that, say if you're, and I noticed something between gas stations, it's sometimes 200 kilometers apart, something like that.
Oh, not that long, but I mean, it's always the irony behind it is when you don't need gas, there's every 6 minutes there's a gas station. But when you do need gas and you're on pretty much on hitchhike, the next one says 49 kilometers, and we got like 2 liters of gas left. But Michelle saved us again today, unbeknownst to me. I was speaking of a rookie move. I was had my eyes fixated. I'm always cognizant of how much gas I have and so on and so forth. But the bike has been absolutely consistent with getting like on a full tank of fuel around 225 miles per tank. And I had that all planned out. We were going to get gas in Quebec City. I kept watching, it was monitoring, looking, it was this, 140, 160. I thought to myself, okay, we're almost at 170. I said, I can go another, well, I'll go about another 40 miles. Let's see what the sign says. Oh yeah, look at that. Quebec says, Quebec 55 kilometers, like 30 miles. I got tons of fuel. As I no sooner said that, and I looked up and it's just riding along, and Michelle happens to say, hey, the gas light's on. And I looked down and went, what? And all of a sudden it says R meaning reserve,
About 30.
30 miles left in the tank. And I'm like, what? That's impossible. I just saw the thing say 160 miles, and I swear it said I had quarter tank, but I was completely wrong. And what I was doing was I was reading the mileage, not being cognizant of the fact. But there was one variable that I didn't share with you, is why I by default I was getting 225. But what I forgot to even take into consideration, especially on a bike full to people, is the wind was absolutely. We had a headwind coming at us. It was vicious, which everyone knows. When you have a serious wind, what happens? Your fuel economy goes right in the tank, no pun intended. And my fuel economy went from 225 miles to the tank. What did we get? What did we end up getting?
19.8.
No, not liters. How many miles did we end up doing?
180.
Yeah, 180. There you go. So that's 45 miles less than what I normally can get. Although it did say I had 25 liters or 25 miles left in the, but I'm not taking it to that, because once you get down to the, bare minimum, no. But anyhow, good thing Michelle was on the ball. I mean, and I was just looking. I had it all in my head. It was like, oh, no problem. Never even considering the wind. So
we had 3 close calls.
yeah.
One to Antigonish, one to Gander, and then today.
Yes.
But the good thing is we didn't have to go what do you call it, hitchhiking?
No, I just say, yeah, yeah. We didn't have to hitchhike. We thought it was only by God's grace that as soon as Michelle said that, we passed one exit, and then that was it. It was off into it was trying to tell us about some camp that was 25 kilometers to the south of us, and I was like, well, that's no good. I don't know, no. And it just so happens, not even 2 minutes up the road, I see a road sign. It says Petrocan, 2 kilometers. I look down at my reserve tank, and it said 25 miles. I was like, oh gosh, let's
I
hope
was
it.
praying. I said, Lord,
Yeah.
please let us see another gas station soon. Because I saw the one that was at exit 164. So I was thinking, probably because he was looking at his phone to kind of navigate where he's going. So I said, oh, maybe he's thinking about the next gas station. So I didn't say anything because I said he has it all covered, you know. But then when he passed it, and then I still see it on E, and he's driving along, I'm like, hold on, I don't think he saw that. But anyway,
No, I didn't see it. I
and then
never
we
even.
ended up at the exit that you actually went. I think was either
I don't know.
154
I don't know what it
or
was.
134.
But we put in almost 20 liters. So, which I'm pretty confident this tank is 21 liters. So I think I had 1 liter of gas left. But anyhow,
Another thing that stood out for me, apart from the surprise at Newfoundland, you know, well, and I know this may sound silly, but Newfoundland, I don't, and I even asked my son, did you realize that Newfoundland is an island? A lot of people don't pay attention to that. They just say, oh, the Maritimes, but then you don't really think about, you know, the location or the proximity and how they're connected. But thinking about the fact that Newfoundland is actually an island and it's a standalone, and the history is so rich, that was also a highlight. And it reminds me of when I went to Europe, and then one country that stood out to me was Portugal, because I did not expect what I experienced there. So the same thing for this trip. I did not expect Newfoundland to be the way it is, and the culture, everything. I'm sure you saw those videos. It's so rich. So that was another highlight. Another thing that stood out for me is being a team player. Is kind of like working together and understanding, especially on a road trip. You guys probably think about, well, this makes me think about, you know, game shows like The Amazing Race, right? And you see people working together trying to get to a destination, and they have clues, they have map, they have all these different things, and so many things can happen on the way. Sometimes you miss a turn, sometimes you miss a boat.
literally.
Sometimes, you know, you miss a clue, sometimes you miscommunicate. There's so many things that happens, and but at the end of it all, what's most important is reaching your destination safely, or maybe first, or on time, or whatever. One of the things that was a challenge was when we went to the French islands, and not knowing what their procedures were, or even what we had to go through to park our vehicle, even knowing that insurance was necessary, all these different things to bring a vehicle over.
Yeah, that was an eye opener for sure. It was like unbelievable. First, it was unbelievably costly. It would have been fine if we would have been there for 2 weeks or whatever. It would have been well worth it. But one night, $300 just for insurance for one time? No, that ain't gonna happen. That's a hotel in itself. So, one of the funny things that it's not funny, but is very, very unique and peculiar things is actually this morning, or even last night, but the restaurant Pacini's, they have this unique thing they do. I guess it's the only thing, I guess, according to the people who work there, it's the only thing that their restaurant offers is you know how when you go to a restaurant, the general thing is they bring bread to you or bring a bread basket or whatever, maybe some garlic bread or something like that, right? Well, they have an entire grilling station. Now I use the words grill really, really precisely because they have an open grill. Okay, there's no flame. It's just a grill. It's about probably 4 to 5 times the size. Square. It's probably 3 feet square, just all the way around. Anyways, what it is, and behind there, they have all of these types of butters, and above that, they have about 8 different types of bread. And you go get a piece of bread, and you can put on butter. You can put on different types of butter. You can put on what was the other stuff they saw?
Garlic.
Garlic spread and all those. Anyways, you take it, you put it on the grill, you fry one side, flip it over, do it to the other. Or if you have something other way to do it, I think you can make it toasted. No, put anything on it. Toast it on one side and the other. Then add your butter and bring it to your table. Now I thought that was just something that they did at night. And then sure enough, we went for breakfast this morning, and I said to the waitress, and there was a bit of a language barrier. She had a very, very rich French accent, and her English was limited.
This is in Quebec.
Yeah, yeah, and she says, I ordered eggs and bacon, and I said, and I'll have my toast. And she goes, oh, no problem. You can go make the toast on the grill. I said, no. I mean, I just want regular toast. She goes, no, there is no toast. That's how you make your toast. I'm like, what the heck is going on here? So needless to say, that was
And
there.
they say you can have all you can eat bread.
It's all you can eat. It's just like any other place. I was like, who's going to have 10 slices of bread? But,
and she said you can have 10 if you want.
yeah, she was being facetious, but she was being genuine of the same token too, because it's true. So I thought that was kind of a peculiar thing, but interesting.
Yeah, it is. We had a lot of interest. There's so many things that we have learned, so many things that we experienced, and even as a couple, as I said, it kind of helps us to see things from a different perspective, and also to learn from each other, sort of thing. Even sometimes, generally speaking, in relationships and stuff, you may have, especially if you're tired, you're hungry, that's when the adrenaline rush is probably the highest, or probably that's when you get a little bit off somewhat, and you're hungry and you don't know where the nearest restaurant is, or you're tired and it's taking so long to get to your destination, or it's, especially sitting on the bike. And one of the things that I learned, or I came to understand, is it's best, if you know exactly where you're going and you can plan your day out. Although being in this kind of environment on a road trip, things are not always going to work out the way you anticipate, because we met some other couples and they shared the same experience. Like, they don't know where they're going to sleep that night. Remember that one?
Yeah, the couple we met this afternoon.
They had similar experiences. Sometimes they're running around all night trying to find a place, and then maybe at that time when you're thinking that you're going to get somewhere, there could be an event in that area, and all the hotels are sold out.
Yeah, but the new thing now that people are doing, that what we discovered is all these riders now are literally are pulling trailers with campers. And you're probably saying, a camper? It's impossible. Not the ones you think. Not like the gigantic ones you with the pickup truck, but they have these small little pop-up tents. Or campers, sorry. We met a couple from Quebec today, and they had it was probably, I'm gonna go with 6 feet square. Literally 6 feet square, and it's attached. Got a harness hook up to the back of the bike, and they're pulling it around. And we saw actually another couple today. that actually had literally a miniature 2-person camper, literally. And we were like, how do they fit in there? But they do. They do. Some of the stuff pops up. So they're inventing a lot of cool things these days that you wouldn't have imagined 10, 15 years before. So.
And then we met this one particular rider who had his tent in his backpack thing.
Yeah,
the
we already
side
talked
pack.
about him.
Yeah, so the point is, it's good that people have their own sleeping.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, it's next door outside in the hallway. They're in the hallway.
Sorry, but we're hearing people in the hallway. Sound like
We
children.
never saw anybody the whole time.
All of a sudden at midnight, there's people like making a whole bunch of noise.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things that we learned, and also, learning that other people are having similar experiences, and learning how to cope with these experiences, and knowing that sometimes you're gonna have a good day, sometimes you're gonna have a bad day. Sometimes you're gonna have good food to eat, sometimes you're not gonna have good food to eat. I remember one night we had to literally stand in was it Tim Hortons and just had a sandwich. It was a gas station, and we had to like literally just stand there. And
that was one of the first nights we were going when we were heading east. Yeah, when we got stuck in that dense fog, we didn't have any place to eat. We didn't plan. That was just, admittedly, just poor planning on my own part. And we got caught with our pants down in that dense fog. But we talked about it before. But by God's grace, the Tim Hortons was still open, and we were able to
at least
leave it a wrap. And then we went to the hotel. And it turns out, when we went to the hotel, they had all kinds of food anyway. So
that was a hotel when they prepared food for us.
Yeah.
So that really worked out. And also I wasn't well at one point too. And we still, as they said, the show must go on. You wake up where I went to bed not well. I didn't want to disturb Mark. And he goes, why didn't you call me? I said, because you were sleeping and I didn't want to disturb you. So, but I recovered because by the morning I was fine. I just had to monitor what I eat because I noticed that certain things when my body isn't able to digest it well. And everybody knows their body. So, you have to pay attention to that. Even if you don't really have many options and you're out there on a road trip, but you still have to, make wise choices so that you don't, hamper your vacation. And that was one of the things that I had to pay attention to. But yeah, there's a lot that, can be said.
But it is getting late. It's already 23 minutes.
Yeah. So, but overall, we are grateful for the opportunity and the experience. And for me, this is my first real road trip. Because, we did one on our honeymoon last year, but that was a different.
Yeah, but that wasn't in the bike, so.
That was not a motorcycle situation.
This was a baptism by fire, so.
So we, and thank you guys for joining us and supporting us as usual, and tuning in, making your comments. It's been great, and we appreciate all the love. And and as usual, we just like to share reality, because these things are real things.
So tomorrow at this rate, we're gonna go on the last leg of our tour tomorrow, and Michelle will have some video for you and see some of the things we're gonna go. We're gonna go across Algonquin Park and things like that, and get that done if the weather holds out. All right, guys. So you have yourself a great night. We're gonna close and say, like we always do, let's keep it real. Bye.
Good night.